In 1971, a man boarded a Boeing 727, demanded $200,000 in cash, and vanished into a freezing, rain-swept storm over the Pacific Northwest. The FBI spent 45 years chasing a ghost. They analyzed everything, from the cheap clip-on tie he left on his seat to the serial numbers on his ransom money. But what if the reason they never caught him wasn't because he was a criminal mastermind, but because the investigation was fundamentally broken from day one? To understand why they failed, we have to stop looking at the hijacker and start looking at the passenger in seat 18C. He didn't board with a mask or a weapon drawn to intimidate. He checked in as Dan Cooper, took his seat, and ordered a bourbon and soda. Flight attendants described him as polite, articulate, and strangely calm. He didn't act like a desperate man, and he didn't act like a professional hijacker. He was meticulous, patient, and quiet. A stark, chilling contrast to the chaos he was about to unleash at 10,000 feet. For decades, the FBI operated under a single, rigid assumption. Cooper was a seasoned skydiver. They built their entire profile around a professional who knew the wind speeds and the drop zones. But modern analysis of the gear they provided him, parachutes that were functionally useless for a nighttime jump into rugged terrain, suggests something else entirely. If he wasn't a professional, how did he survive? The FBI's obsession with the pro skydiver theory led them to waste years chasing leads in the athletic community, while the real man was likely hiding in plain sight. A guy doing a job that required zero athletic ability, but total, intimate system knowledge. The most critical clue wasn't a witness statement or a fingerprint. It was 3 microscopic particles of titanium and antimony found on the clip-on tie he left behind. These particles aren't just industrial dust. They're a chemical DNA trail. They point directly to the aerospace industry, specifically to the catastrophic downturn in the Seattle economy that left thousands of engineers and factory workers out of work in the early 70s. While the FBI was hunting for an athlete, the evidence suggests they should have been looking for an unemployed aerospace worker who understood the mechanics of a Boeing 727 better than the crew actually flying the plane. Think about the sheer audacity of it. He didn't just jump out of a plane. He calculated the flight path. He knew the aircraft's vulnerabilities, and he understood how to manipulate the FBI's own investigative biases. When the FBI officially closed the case in 2016, they called it a pragmatic decision to reallocate resources. But for those who study the archives, the case isn't closed because the mystery is solved. It's closed because the trail went cold under the weight of decades of institutional misdirection. Was D.B. Cooper a master criminal? Or was he just a desperate man who saw a gap in the system that the authorities were too arrogant to even imagine? We may never know his name, but we now know one thing for certain. The FBI wasn't hunting a master criminal. They were hunting a ghost of their own creation.